Hi, this is Tyler with First Federal Bank and Trust, and I want to share with you a text message scam that we and other banks in the area are seeing with increasing frequency. It starts off with a text message allegedly from your bank, indicating that a purchase has been made on your credit or debit card. In the examples I've seen, they either leave out the word bank or they deliberately misspell it. In this example, for the letter K, they're spelling it with an uppercase I and the less than symbol, but I've seen where they leave it out completely. There is also a link within the message that contains random characters, followed by .icu. In every example I've seen so far, .icu is in the position where you'd usually see .com, .net, .org, or .bank. This is a good indicator of the current attack, but could easily be changed in future attacks. If the victim clicks the link, they are then taken to a site that mimics the online banking or app login page. Here you can see on the left the real online banking page, and on the right is the attacker's site. The attacker site copies nearly every element of the legitimate site, including the bank logo and footer information. If you didn't have the two side by side, it would be easy to overlook the fact that the attacker button is blue rather than burgundy in this case. But it would be trivial for the attacker to make these changes in a future attack, so it's not a good indicator that it is a fake site. One other thing that you can do, though, is look at the address bar. The legitimate site would have the bank's online banking address. This one has the same gibberish address that was in the text message. Once the victim clicks Submit on the login page, they are taken to a page that prompts for an email address and phone number. This does two things. One, it lays the groundwork for the next page where they ask for a two-factor authentication code. And two, it gives the attacker additional information that they could use to leverage in a future attack. For example, if you use the same password for your email address and online banking, they would have all of the information that they need between the last page and this one to compromise your email account, which is why it's important to use a unique password for every site. So when the victim clicks Continue after putting in the email address and phone number, what's happening on the attacker's side is they're hitting the Submit button on the real online banking site. This triggers the online banking system to prompt for a two-factor code. Many people have these codes set up to send as text messages or emails, but some use authenticator apps. Because the victim has just provided their email address and phone number, it wouldn't seem unusual that they would receive a confirmation code that way. But the attacker also accounts for the fact that people use authenticator apps by putting that in the prompt as well. You can see here that they say, if you have the Authy app installed, you can get the code from there. However the code is delivered, once the victim enters the two-factor code and hits Verify, the attacker has everything they need to log on to online bankings, and within seconds they do so. The victim, on the other hand, receives a reassuring message that they have just canceled the fraudulent transaction. Feeling confident that they have avoided fraud, they go on with their day, unaware that they have just given the attacker access to their online banking accounts, where the attacker is diligently setting up funds transfers to external accounts. So what can you do to avoid being scammed like this? First, be cautious of all electronic communications. A bank text will come from a known number. Bank emails will come from the bank's email domain, in our case, efirstfederal.com. Or they will come from a service that your bank has already made you aware of in advance. Many use document signing services and those sorts of things, but you should know about these and which ones your bank uses. Bank messages will also use normal characters and letters within their messages. In our example, we had the oddly formed K letter. Also pay attention to links. Legitimate links will look legitimate. They will end in .com or .net or .bank, and they will not be random strings of characters. If you ever have a question or receive a notification like the one we saw, it's best to log into your online banking account or your mobile app to verify that there is indeed a fraudulent or suspicious transaction. If you ever have any questions, of course, reach out to your bank. Most community banks actually answer their phones, and you're not put into a phone queue, which is the advantage of banking with smaller community banks. You don't have to wait on hold while they try to connect you with somebody. No bank is going to ask you for information that they should already know. In this example, they asked for an email address and phone number. The bank would already know this, and so they wouldn't need to prompt you for that information. As always, multi-factor authentication is a good thing to have on your email and financial accounts. Any multi-factor authentication is better security than just a username and password, but not all multi-factor authentication is created equally. Text-based codes and email-based codes can be redirected to other accounts or phished, and app-generated codes can also be phished, as we saw in this example. It's good to know those limitations so that you can account for those as you're moving through your day. Some of the better multi-factor authentication methods are physical keys such as a YubiKey, which can be plugged into a system, or passkeys, which prompt your phone for authentication. In these cases, there is never any code to exchange or share, and that makes them significantly stronger than an app-based or text or email-based multi-factor authentication. I hope this has been informative and will help you to avoid scams.